I'm leaving.
Hey everyone, so as you can probably tell, I am in a hotel room. I'm in California right now, and I just was inspired to make this video, so I wanted to set up my equipment, pop on here real quick, and just tell you this little story. But forgive me if the lighting is off or the sound or anything like that, just because I am in a different setting, so it might be a little bit different. But overall, this story just kind of was something that has taught me to not get scared of things in life and to kind of just be a little bit more open-minded. And I think naturally I'm a very cautious person. I tend to overthink things a lot, and I tend to also kind of, I wouldn't say I'm negative, but I definitely kind of think about like the worst situation of something, and I just kind of do it in like a very cautious, careful way. So obviously I traveled to California alone, and no matter how old I get, I think always traveling by myself is always a little bit scary and a little bit uncomfortable. I just typically like to be with someone. I don't know why, but just how I am. So I don't know if this is weird or if anyone else does this, but I always really overthink about who I'm going to sit next to on the airplane. I think I'm social and I try to be friendly, but on airplanes, I never want to be caught in like that uncomfortable, awkward talking situation where you're talking the whole time. And this flight that I actually was on today, I was super tired. I had to get up really early, and then I knew that I was going to have to shoot all day, so I was just kind of planning to like sleep on the plane and just kind of put in my earphones and just like take a little break from the plane line from Austin to California. So once I got on the plane, I started walking back to my seat, and I was like double checking my seat on my ticket like I always do, which again is probably a little bit weird. And I saw what row I was in and the number I was in, and I just kind of glanced over, like, you know when you're in the very front of a plane and your seat's kind of further back, you just kind of like look around at everyone, and everyone kind of was looking around, staring up at people. That for some reason just like makes me really uncomfortable, but I was just like looking around, and I made eye contact with this guy, and he was really cute, and I just made eye contact with him. I didn't like say anything or motion anything, just kind of smiled at him, whatever. So then I keep walking a little bit further, someone stops in front of me, puts their bag up, keep walking a little further, and then I start thinking, I'm like, I wonder who I'm sitting next to on this plane. And typically I like sitting next to moms or older people. I just feel like they don't like chit chat with you all the time, and like I said, I don't really have a fear of talking to people. It's just, I don't know why the idea of that makes me uncomfortable. It just does. So I was walking almost close to my seat, and then I realized that I am sitting right next to the guy that had smiled at me from earlier. And I double check my seat right before I sit down, just because I awkwardly don't want to sit next to him and then be like the seat behind him and seem really weird. So I double check it, and that's my seat, and I'm right next to him. So I sit down, and he moves his stuff and whatever. And the whole plane ride, he is talking to me. He's just making conversation. He was telling me about his work and his restaurant and what he likes to do for fun and his dog and just all of this random stuff. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, and then later on into the conversation I started learning more about him, kind of just getting a feel for like the type of person he was. And honestly, I don't think I have ever had a more entertaining flight. And this plane did not have any TVs, didn't have any movies, but literally talking to him was so interesting, and I actually enjoyed it. And previously, I was always like petrified of being sat next to someone on a plane that was going to talk the entire time. And it sounds like such a small little thing, and it probably, to people that don't think of that, it sounds really stupid, I understand. But for some reason, that was just something that always made me kind of anxious and uncomfortable. And now that it happened, and we had a great conversation, and it was really comfortable, and it just kind of changed my mind, not just on that situation, but in a broader sense of I really shouldn't be afraid of things in life. I should try to experience them before I decide to write them off as uncomfortable or annoying or something I don't want to have to do, because now I am forever changed about like what I think about sitting on planes next to people. I now don't really have any worries about who I'm going to be seated next to, because if I'm seated next to a really cool person who has an awesome personality and, you know, wants to share all this information with me, great. If not, great as well. You know, I'll put in my earphones and go to sleep. But previously, it just always was something that really made me anxious, and that I just like really overthought and got worked up about, and it's not a big deal. And I don't know, I had this revelation that now I really am going to try to live my life a little bit less afraid and a little bit less cautious. And if it took something as silly and as stupid as having a conversation with a complete stranger on a plane to realize that, oh well, because I think it's going to better my life, and I think that now I will be able to kind of be a little bit more fearless and maybe be a little bit more daring, and I think that's something that I do need in my life, and I wanted to share this little story with you. Again, it might be really stupid to those of you who don't kind of have like a fear or an uncomfortableness with that, but kind of take it as a broader sense of sometimes the things that you're kind of like dreading in life, that seems a little dramatic, or something that you're just, I don't know, kind of against, or something that you think is going to be really uncomfortable or that you're really not going to like, might turn out to surprise you and might be something that's not that bad, or something that you even enjoy. And I think you really are kind of selling yourself short if you are too afraid to try new things and to kind of go out of your comfort zone. And trust me, this is coming from me. I'm very cautious, very careful, and now this whole little experience on the plane has prompted me to want to make kind of different decisions and just be a little bit more daring. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I know it was kind of a little bit of a silly story, but I really wanted to share it with you, and I hope to my true loyal viewers, you guys get something out of this, and just know that it was very heartfelt and just something I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys later.